Hello everyone, and today's video is going to be a continuation on my series Perms 101, and I'm going to be talking about the Thio relaxer. So I want to give a special shout out to one of my viewers, Cher Jones, who asked a wonderful question, and she asked, do you have any examples of Thio relaxers? So Thio relaxers, and I thought this is a really good question because it's not talked about enough in either cosmetology school or in the professional beauty store. Thio relaxers, aka the straight perm, uses the same exact chemicals that are used in permanent waving or perms to make the hair straight. Now, when we're doing relaxers, we actually have different options because not every single hair type is going to be suitable or able to tolerate the extreme harshness of a lye or a no-lye relaxer, because lye and no-lye relaxers tend to be very high in the pH. It's almost a pH of 14 at the highest end to maybe like a 10 or 11. It's a very strong caustic chemical, and if someone has colored hair or slightly dry hair or even bleached hair, it's a big no-no. And especially if someone has done a previous permanent wave and you put a sodium hydroxide or a lye relaxer over that, you will have extreme breakage that is beyond unimaginable. So one of the benefits of using your Thio relaxers to smooth the hair and straighten the hair is that it's compatible with bleach and color. Way back when, in the 80s, a lot of hairdressers that were around would actually use the perm solution at the bowl, and they would spray it all over, and they would actually comb or brush the hair, and doing that would push the hair in a straight position while the perm broke the bonds, and then you would neutralize and it would seal the hair back. Now that's kind of a very old school way of doing the hair, and it's a little bit harsh because you don't want to be violently pulling at the hair when the chemical's on there because you can snap and break the hair. So what cosmetologists did is they made the Thio, which is a cream form. It's a little bit stronger than a perm. It usually starts at about a pH of 10, and because of this, the product is able to break more bonds. When we're working with a Thio, here is the key word right here. The Thio is going to break more than 50% of the hair's bonds. In a proper perm, you break roughly 50% of the bonds and you reform them to make a curl or wave. When you're doing a Thio, you want to break over 50% of the hair's bonds, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to make the hair 100% straight. What's going to happen then is the hair is not going to hold its own weight and it's going to snap right off. So Thio perms, they also come, I want to mention this too, they also come in a Thio-free version. Just like we have Thio-free perms that use, or ammonia-free perms, they use a different ingredient such as cysteine, or they'll use MEA instead of the ammonia. You can get the same chemistry, and it's not necessarily a better perm, straight perm or whatnot. It's just that you can have more of a wiggle room when you're using a cysteine-based straightening system. There is less of a risk of over-processing, and you can use it on hair that's maybe a bit more beat up with more highlights. You want to make sure you're reading the manufacturer's instructions because I have some examples here, but I want to keep this brand generic. You can give me any kind of Thio or straightening smoothing cream and I can make it work. It's really about how you're applying it. They're all applied in roughly the same way. Your one component, the straightening cream, which you're going to take with a brush and a bowl and apply it, and then you're going to rinse the hair, and then you're going to apply the rebonding lotion, which is the neutralizer. It's peroxide. You'll get your reforming lotion, which is always a Thio. They call it a million different names. Now, with the straight perm, you can use it on color because it's compatible with color, but my own experience of using that, I remember the one time I applied it on a client who had beautiful, beautiful red hair, and you actually can see it. It's really cool, but you feel like you're having a heart attack. You see the color start to get pulled out and it turns bright red, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this client is going to have so much fadage, and then it went right back in the hair. So that's usually how these products work. They work a little bit different. If you do it properly, you'll have minimal color fadage. If you have some color fadage, you wait the 2 weeks and then you can do a demi-color over it or a semi-color over it. So with your straight perm, you also have the option of doing a Japanese straightening service. Now this is where it gets different. If you're just doing the correct method of doing a Thio relaxer, you're going to apply the Thio cream, but actually the first step, sorry I lied, the first step is to shampoo and cleanse the hair. Get all the product off. You can shampoo the hair once or twice, and then you can do a mineral removing treatment to make sure there's no metals in the hair or minerals, because mineral buildup can either do one of two things. It can block the Thio from going in there, or it can cause massive hair breakage if it reacts badly, because metal and perm are not friends. Remember that. They're enemies. So you're gonna cleanse the hair, you're gonna apply the Thio with a brush, usually to the mid shaft of the hair, apply it quickly, and then you're gonna go back in, apply it to the ends and the regrowth, and then you comb it. Now give it a nice comb through, make sure it's going straight. You might wanna apply a barrier cream if your client has a sensitive skin, and then you're gonna process it accordingly. Now what you're looking for is you can look for the curl. If you push the hair up, if it still has the S shape, you didn't relax it enough. Wait for it to be smooth with no curl, and then you're gonna rinse the hair for 10 minutes. Okay, not 5, not 1 minute, 10 minutes or more. You wanna get all that product off of the hair, because if there's any residue of that Thio or Thio-like ingredient and you put that peroxide neutralizer, you're gonna cause an exothermic reaction, which is gonna fry the hair, because exothermic makes heat. It's gonna cause the cuticle to open up and the hair to potentially snap off. Also, what you don't wanna do is if your client has had a perm of any sort in their hair and you put a sodium hydroxide relaxer on it, it will react violently and you're gonna have hair that's in the sink. Massive reaction, potentially a lawsuit, and permanent hair damage. Because Thio and sodium are mortal enemies. So this is why if your client has a perm, they don't like their perm, they wanna go pin straight, which I've done. If you look at one of my other videos, I used the same brand of the perm and I used their straightening cream, and I used that and it was perfect. It was compatible, the hair wasn't damaged, it was healthy. On hair that is very coarse, coily, kinky hair, I always say the type of relaxer you should be using is Thio always, because you just process it longer. Follow the manufacturer's instructions, but I heard people say, well, it's not strong enough to break the hair down. Well, guess what? You wait longer. This product does not shut itself off like other perms do. It keeps working. So the worst case scenario, you process it longer and you keep checking until you get the degree of straightness that you want. So that's the traditional method. Now the Japanese method is the same that I've just said of shampooing the hair, applying and neutralizing it, except there's one extra step. After you rinse the hair for 10 minutes, you dry the hair and you take a flat iron, and it's usually 3 passes, but every brand is different. Flat iron the hair accordingly. By doing the flat iron with the perm, you're gonna break some more bonds and you're gonna make the hair even more straight. And hair that's been treated with the Japanese straightening system will never curl again, until the hair grows out, of course. But it's a really good procedure for hair that is very resistant to the traditional regular Thio perm. So what you're gonna do is do the flat iron, and then what I'll do is I'll neutralize, blow dry, and then I do one gentle flat iron again to make sure the hair is nice and straight. And every manufacturer says different things, but I always tell my clients, wait at least 3 days before you shampoo and wash your hair again. A lot of brands say wait 1 day, but I always find the longer you wait to wash your hair, the better the result, because you're really letting that cuticle reharden and keep the hair in that nice straight position. So immediately, 1 day after you get a Thio relaxer done, you don't wanna pull your hair up because that's gonna leave a permanent banding mark, which is really ugly. You don't wanna go in a pool. You don't wanna, if it's raining out, you know, you can just re-flat iron at home. But really make sure you're doing your services on a day that you know the weather is gonna be permitting. So what you can do, and I'm gonna give you some examples of brands, and if you have any questions about brands, let me know down below. What you can do is when you're in the beauty supplier next, check out the perm aisle, and that will show you what your options are for your smoothing services. And they cost, because you're charging about $1 a minute, the Japanese method is very expensive. It usually runs about $600 to $1,000, sometimes more or less, depending on, you know, the area that your salon is in. First one I'm gonna talk about is Matrix Opti Smooth. When I worked at Salon Centric, this was the top product. This is the sensitized one that is used for hair that's been colored. If you have some highlights, you can use this. And it comes with your smoothing cream, your protein treatment, and your neutralizer. I like this perm because it comes in 3 steps: for sensitized, normal, and then for extra resistant hair. I've used the stronger one on like afro hair and it makes it pin straight. One of my favorites, Pervana, they have the Keratin Fusion. This is a Thio-free system, and it comes with a reforming lotion, the bonding lotion, a thermal insulator, and the retexturizing serum. It's a really good perm system. You have extra product in here. And all of these products, I'll talk about this in a whole different video, are suitable for a jerry curl, which is doing the Thio perm method on extremely kinky and coily hair, but then wrapping the hair in rods and reforming it so you're kind of like doing a perm on the hair. By using the rod, you're gonna make the hair into like a less curlier but more manageable version instead of making it straight. Isomin Tamer, it works very similar to the Pravana except you get less product. You can do this in any way you please, and it is Thio-free as well. Also note that Thio-free, it is not necessarily odor-free. A lot of people think that, oh, there's no egg smell. My own opinion, and from what my clients have told me, the Thio-free kind of smells like dog poop, but the results are really nice if you do it right. And Tressa Smooth Operator, they have normal and the tinted version. So these, this is kind of beat up. Comes with the straightening cream here. Let's see if we can open this. And the straightening cream, and every brand is going to be different. Some of them may be a little bit more loose, but they should be thick enough because the point of having the cream in all of these products is to hold the hair in a very straight position. So while the product is on the hair and it's doing its job of breaking down the bonds, it's holding the hair down in a straight position while it's doing the job. Same thing with the neutralizer. The neutralizer is very thick and you have to also apply it with a brush and bowl. I always use 2 different brushes and 2 different bowls just in case I don't wipe enough of the product off. I don't want to cause the exothermic reaction and break the hair down. But there are countless brands. So, you know, straight perms, they definitely have their place, especially in today's world where a lot of people are coloring their hair and relaxers are kind of going by the wayside, because even though people do this and they'll bleach their hair and then they'll use a sodium hydroxide relaxer over it, I don't want to do that because that's one of the basics of, you know, cosmetology 101 in school is we're not supposed to do that because these are 2 very caustic chemicals, and because the bonds that sodium hydroxide create, the lanthionine bonds, those are not compatible with peroxide, and that's why you can still get a lot of breakage. That's why we don't neutralize a sodium hydroxide relaxer. We normalize, as they say, with the shampoo, because if you put peroxide over the hair that's been relaxed, I remember my cosmetology teacher did that, and she said the person got very dry hair and got some breakage up at the scalp. Also, some of the straight perms are not going to be suitable for bleached hair, and that, especially the Japanese method, when you're using the hot iron, you might either have to use a different product known as an alternative relaxer or a, they call it a very low pH relaxer. And those have a whole different chemistry, and personally, I have not seen these in the beauty supplier. I do want to do some digging and see if I can find some brands to talk about. Brands that are compatible with double processed hair, high lifted hair, hair that's a little bit dry. I usually say that using the Thio-free relaxer is the best option because you're given more of a wiggle room, and if you're fresh at a cosmetology school and you're nervous, you can have more of a chance of getting a good result with this as opposed to using a regular Thio relaxer and risk a fail. But of course, you should always test it out on a mannequin first. If someone has, you know, balayage or ombre, it may not be suitable for a Thio relaxer or a Japanese method. Really use your judgment, and when in doubt, always call the manufacturer and they will guide you in the right direction. It's easier to tell a client that we'll do like a different chemical service, like a, you know, a keratin treatment, as opposed to having the hair fall off in the sink or in the bowl. Because while these services look really good, if you do them wrong, you can have a really bad result on your hands. So these are awesome examples. I know that Redken and L'Oreal used to have their version of the relaxer, and I've heard great things about them. I've never tried them myself, but I've heard they've been both discontinued in the United States. I know they might be available in other countries still. So really experiment, find what you guys like. If you guys have, like my hair, if I did this product, I actually used to use these. I used to do my own at home where I would actually apply the product and it would take about 10 to 20 minutes. Once I got the degree of curl that was taken out, I would actually flat iron my own hair. Do not try these on yourself. Make sure you get a friend. This was back before I was a professional. But yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment, and if you guys have any questions, I can do another video because I want to know more from you guys, what you guys want. I was really glad for those that are commenting, asking really good questions, because it leads to me getting creative and coming up with these videos. So I want to know down below, what's your favorite brand of Thio relaxer? It could be Thio or Thio-free. Let me know what you guys have used. And I will be on, coming up I'm gonna try to do this in about a week. In about a week's time, I'm gonna do a whole nother video on the Jerry curl. I do wanna get a mannequin. I think it's Diane or Dione. And I'm gonna do the relaxer on one of them. I'm gonna get a second one and do a Jerry curl. So those are all videos that are coming up in the future for my little Perms 101 series. So thank you guys for watching this. If you guys have any questions at all, post them down below. And I want to continue to make more amazing content for you all. So please hit that subscribe button down below so I can continue to do more amazing videos for you guys. So have a wonderful summer.